Hello guys, thank you so much for coming back to watch another video on my channel. So I just been to the gym and just came home and found out there is another rumour circulating on the internet by this known leaker, confirming now that there are other Resident Evil remakes which are currently in development and next in line to be released by Capcom. So I couldn't wait and I wanted to make this in a video to talk about my points. So without wasting any time, let's dive into our video. And if you're brand new to my channel and you do end up liking this video, do give me a thumbs up and subscribe. And soon I'm going to be posting a very long video which I've been mentioning in my previous videos. It's going to be around a novel around a concept within Resident Evil universe. So if you do like that sort of content, do make sure to stick around and stay tuned in for that video. Now I know a lot of you guys been frustrated with so many rumors we've been hearing about so many games which are in development and nothing has officially been confirmed by Capcom themselves, and there has been very conflicting information from multiple sources confirming that this game is in development, then the next minute we're hearing that this game is in development, and there is so many mixed information that we don't know which is actually true. I do personally believe that we will see a Capcom showcase very soon in June. I don't think Capcom would skip that because it's not about just Resident Evil. They also have to announce about the next Devil May Cry, which is also one of their successful IPs, and also they want to advertise about the next Monster Hunter game, which is going to be very big. And we know that there is a Summer Game Fest which is going to be happening in June anyway, so anything can happen, any announcement can happen officially from Capcom, and then we all know that what next Resident Evil game is in line. But as a YouTuber and a fan of Resident Evil games, I do love to cover these rumors, leaks, and talk about them and share my points and views, and also love to hear your points and views in the comment section as to what you guys think about these leaks and these subjects we talk about in our videos. Now this new rumor is coming from Dust Golem himself. He's now clarifying that what he's hearing about Resident Evil 9 and what other Resident Evil remakes are currently in development. Now I'm going to briefly summarize these tweets which he made on his Twitter account. He now confirmed that what he has been hearing about Resident Evil 9 originally, that actually is the case, and then Resident Evil 9 is scheduled to be released for late 2025 or 2026. And he further clarified the recent rumors we've heard about Resident Evil 1 Remake is currently in development, and for Resident Evil 5 Remake that actually is not true. And the only remakes which Capcom is currently working on is actually Resident Evil 0 Remake and Resident Evil Code Veronica Remake. Now interestingly, Andy Robson, who is also an editor-chief at VGS, which is the gaming outlet, he also acknowledges that this is actually true, and he tweeted on his Twitter account confirming to listen to this man, which means that Resident Evil 0 Remake and Resident Evil Code Veronica Remake is indeed in development. And I do believe Andy Robson is quite reliable. I think he's tier 2, and previously they also confirmed about Silent Hill 2 Remake and Resident Evil 4 Remake in development, which actually turned out to be true. But then on the other hand, we have Daniel RPK, who is actually quite reliable in movie community, especially comic book movies around DC or Marvel, and he confirmed that Resident Evil 1 Remake is in development. And we've heard from Biohazard Declassified, who confirmed that he have heard some further information that how Resident Evil 1 Remake actually looks like. So let's take this information with a grain of salt and let's say that what this column is saying is actually true. So let's first look at Resident Evil 9's announcement. He's saying that we're not going to be hearing anything about Resident Evil 9 announcement around summer this year, which means that Resident Evil 9 is not going to be coming out in January 2025, which he previously said himself that actually is the case. And now he's going back to saying that he's been pushed back to late 2025 or even 2026. I personally disagree with that. I think Capcom would still announce in a Summer Game Fest, or they'll do their own Capcom showcase or even Resident Evil showcase this year where they'll announce about Resident Evil 9 and releasing it for late 2025, which would be the time when Rockstar will be releasing GTA 6, which would be the biggest game of all time, and releasing around that closed window. I don't think they'll do much sales by doing that, and I think doing it early 2025 or even 2026 would make more sense. But late 2025, I personally don't think Capcom would like to risk that. And Dust Golem himself confirmed that Resident Evil 9 has been in development since Resident Evil Village time, which means it has been in development for a number of years, and not announcing a game for 2 years or even not releasing it, I don't think that would be the case. So I personally do think it's still on track to be released for early 2025 or maybe 2026, but I do believe that they will still make an announcement this summer, either on the Capcom showcase or Summer Game Fest. Then he confirmed the biggest news, that Resident Evil 0 Remake is in development along with Resident Evil Code Veronica Remake, and I do believe that Resident Evil Code Veronica Remake is indeed in development. It has been confirmed by a previous leak which I've made a video around, that some playtester has played an early section of that game, and it makes sense for Capcom to remake this game because it has been highly requested by the Resident Evil community. So that gets me really excited. If they're doing the same Resident Evil 2 or Resident Evil 4 remake style, then I think it would work, and it might be the best remake we've seen from this franchise, because Resident Evil 2 Remake is right now the second highest selling game in this whole franchise. Now Resident Evil 0 Remake before even Resident Evil 1 Remake, I don't think that would make more sense, because Resident Evil 0 originally wasn't a part of the coherent story we've seen from the original Resident Evil 1 all the way to Resident Evil 4, even Resident Evil 5. It's sort of an offshoot prequel which talks about the story, the events, but it doesn't go much into the lore and much into what's going on. And Resident Evil 7 and 8 has been quite connected with what has been going on, and even the recent remakes. So doing Resident Evil 0 Remake, which I would love to see, it's one of my favorite games. I know it's quite underrated, but I don't think they will do that remake before Resident Evil 1 Remake, because Resident Evil 1 in general, it's a goldmine for Capcom to do it. Then he also confirmed that Resident Evil 5 Remake is not in development, but on the other hand, Capcom themselves teased that at the end of Resident Evil 4 Remake, which doesn't make sense to what they're showing us and what they're actually working on. So I personally do think that Resident Evil Code Veronica Remake is still in development, but let's say Resident Evil 0 Remake is in development, I would still love to play that game. I think if they do the right treatment with that remake and do it in the same style as we've seen with the recent remakes, and drop all the annoying mechanics we've seen on the original game and make it more traditional and more streamlined, I think it might still work, and make it more coherent, and then maybe focus on Resident Evil 1 Remake. But still, it's personally, for me, it just doesn't make sense to do this remake before Resident Evil 1 Remake. But remember, this is all up in the air right now, because Capcom has not confirmed anything officially themselves, and a lot of this information is keep changing on a weekly basis. So keep your expectations in line and wait for Capcom to officially confirm that which next Resident Evil title is in line to be released. So what do you guys think about this new rumor? Do you believe these remakes are in development, or do you still think that Resident Evil 1 Remake is going to be the next remake we'll see from Capcom? Please do let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below in this video. And that's it for the video, guys. I'll catch you again with another video on my channel. Until then, look after yourself. Have a good one.